Who the f came up with this thing?
I'm proud of it.
Welcome back to a vision experiment with me, Ty, talking everything Apple Vision Pro, spatial computing, applications, accessories, and more. And the post has arrived. One of the biggest accessory manufacturers in tech reached out to me recently saying, we've got a new product that I think you're going to be interested in, and we'd like to send you it. But there is a caveat. It is ugly. And we've also got a few that we need to get off our hands. We're not sure we're really going to sell a lot of them. And in all honesty, we probably are making a mistake. But would you like one? I obviously jumped at the opportunity to get my hands on one, and here is the package. It's just arrived into the Vision Experiment Studios, and let's just be honest, this is going to be a first impressions look at the DBRAND Aperture for Apple Vision Pro. Now, if you haven't heard about this product, it's a very interesting one in many different ways. And a lot of people who do have Vision Pros, and obviously plenty of people that don't have Vision Pros, have an opinion of this product. And I saw it a very long time ago. I recognized the design from a tweet that was put out onto X a little while ago from a guy called Kyle Goodrich. And realistically, when I first saw it, I was like, why would you make this? It's got the weirdest aesthetic ever. I'm really not so sure that like Apple, with the way that they approach designing this product, that they want something to go onto it that kind of makes it look in any way, shape or form maybe like worse. Now, don't get me wrong, there was a definite purpose to it, which we'll get to in a bit, but let's get this open. Let's have a look at it. And just to be clear, DBRAND did send me this to have a look at and review. We're going to really do a first impressions unboxing of this product with my own honest opinions. Let's open this up. We don't need that anymore. This is the DBRAND Aperture in collaboration with Kyle Goodrich. And it's an Apple Vision Pro front cover. And it also comes with an additional battery protection cover as well. So the best thing to do is get this open, have a look at it, get it on the Apple Vision Pro, and really kind of work out, is it worth buying? You've really got to subscribe to the channel now. You don't really have much choice. You need to go and press it right now and like the video, because I've made myself look very stupid wearing something rather silly, and you owe me. Simple as that. So as DBRAND always do, they have amazing packaging. This one, unfortunately, due to FedEx, got a little bit banged up en route to me. But on the box, you've got sort of this kind of, it's like a matte orange box in this case, with the kind of outline of what the actual product is on the top of the box and the sides of the box in kind of like a glossy outline. So it really sort of stands out when you see it in the light. It really shines out, and you've got it from every angle. And then you've also got the battery clip on this box as well for this particular package. They do two different types of packages, either just the front face cover on its own, or you can purchase the front face cover and the battery bank protector as well. Now then, inside the box, we are greeted with the actual face cover itself and a little card showing you the instructions for both the battery holster and instructions of the face cover and installing the product, which is really good. Nothing too complicated, as you would expect. It's literally a snap-on cover and a basically just you push the battery into the battery holster. Taking the front face cover out, as you can see, you can understand a little bit more now about the aesthetics of this particular product. It's very out there for one, and they do this in both this orange color, and they also do it in a black color as well. Those are the two color options right now, and it really is giving you kind of tryptophobia kind of vibes. If you kind of have a look at it there, as you can see, it's got all these kind of random cutouts and everything. But the one thing that is amazingly interesting about this is that this has strategically got cutouts in all the right places, so it doesn't interfere with any of those sensors and cameras. Unlike something like this, which is one of these kind of like acrylic covers where you've got a couple of holes cut out at the top for the vents and down at the bottom for the two down facing cameras and sort of like venting holes. What you do find is that a lot of these have a solid front cover, and all the cameras and sensors are actually covered by this plastic, which could cause some tracking issues, or you kind of get a slightly worse pass-through, which is something that you just don't want to have. And the biggest problem with these, which I think you may mitigate in some ways with the Aperture, is the potential of getting debris behind this, and this potentially being a very snug fit that creates potentially scratches and scrapes on the front glass of your Apple Vision Pro. One of the things I noticed as I was looking around the face cover was I noticed in the light round by the nose piece is Kyle Goodrich's signature that's been placed on it. It's debossed into this plastic, and what a nice touch from DBRAND. So now we've had a look at the front face cover, let's have a quick look at the battery protector, the battery holster. And here is something really, really interesting. So it's got the same design aesthetic, but slightly more rubberized, feels a little bit more stretchy, absolutely. And it's got on the back a clip, which is perfect for you to be able to attach this to your belt, your pocket, maybe even the back of your Vision Pro's head strap, because this has adjustability. You can spin the clip around and you have the ability to have it sort of on a landscape angle, and you could clip that on the back of your strap if you feel you want to. So in there lies some extra versatility with this particular battery holster. You sort of almost like hook it on around where the speaker arms are, and then literally it's a case of just pushing it over. So once you've hooked it on this side, you literally push it over, and it should literally just hug the Vision Pro absolutely flush and perfect, which is the case. It absolutely does. And I'm just going to clean up some of the areas where I touched it, just so that we can make sure that all the cameras and sensors are not obscured by anything. And so there you go. That is the Aperture fitted. And basically it doesn't cover any of the camera sensors, any of the camera holes. You can see all of the lower camera areas I've got a cutout. The top venting holes are cut out. You can reach the button that's on the top for taking spatial photos and videos, and you've also got access to the digital crown. So all of that is perfect, exactly what you expect. It's definitely exceptionally wild in its appearance, and it'd be really interesting to know what other people think of it in the future if I keep it on my Apple Vision Pro, which in all honesty, therein lies a question. The question is to you: if you were to purchase this, would you miss eyesight? Now, I spoke to Kyle about this, and he was very much of, it is a trade-off. Do you want protection or do you want eyesight? And I think a lot of people may take protection for a $3,500 device as a #1 priority. And with the cost of having to replace the front glass on an Apple Vision Pro without Apple Care, if you don't have it, this is almost like a no-brainer. You should be buying something to protect the front of your Vision Pro. And there is no company better at producing accessories for different types of tech than DBRAND. So now we've got the face cover onto the Apple Vision Pro. Let me show you how easy it is to put the battery holster cover on as well. And it is literally a case of you just push it over the top, and it's just super easy. It's a nice snug fit. It literally just pushed on with no problems. It doesn't feel like it's going to fall off in any way. It's really gripped on tightly there as well. So anybody out there who is worried that maybe it could just slip off, if you're going to kind of orientate this with the clip in, you know, a different way to just vertical. No, you should be fine. And yeah, it's a really sort of snug and clean fit. Let's go and have a look at the DBRAND website and have a quick look over any of the things that they may say about the Aperture product. Designed by Kyle Goodrich in California, manufactured by robots. The brainchild of former AR designer at Snap, Kyle Goodrich. When we came across his 3D printed Vision Pro cover that embraced the sensor cutout, we liked it so much, in fact, that we offered to bring it to market. It states that it's a unibody construction made from a single shot injection of high durometer polyurethane. The unibody construction of Aperture provides ample protection for your Apple Vision Pro. So as I said, it comes in two ways. You can either buy it purely face cover alone at $49, or you can pick it up with both the face cover and the battery holster for $69. So I'm going to leave a link in the description down below to the DBRAND website where you can pick up one of the Apertures for yourself. So I can confirm that the cameras and sensors work perfectly. There is absolutely no problems with wearing Apple Vision Pro whatsoever, and it obviously is a protection product. So it's really easy to get caught up in its looks because it has these crazy looking holes, and it can really be a thing that could just quite easily switch you off. Obviously, we know full well that DBRAND is using this as a product that is mainly to the Vision Pro community to have an option to ensure you look after your Vision Pro that bit more. But it needed something that really got people's attention, and it absolutely has achieved its goal. Aperture is that product, and obviously available in black. You can have it be a little bit more discreet, or buy it in orange and be as loud and proud as you want to. I know for a fact that I'm honestly telling you the truth when I say it. I think it's actually really cool. I don't think that it looks horrendously ugly. I actually see its practical purpose, and I will most likely be keeping this on for the foreseeable future. Now, there is one big question that I wanted to get answered, and I couldn't do it until I got it in hand. And that is, does the Apple Vision Pro's front cover over the Aperture face cover? Let's give it a try. So the answer is yes, it does fit over the top of the Aperture face cover, but I will say it doesn't fit as snugly as it would do without it. So you have got to prioritize, which is a bit of a pain. And I actually think that maybe in the future, if this product grows and gets more successful, potentially maybe DBRAND creates something that just allows you to cover the entire front as well as the glass, because I feel like there may be a requirement to make a slightly bigger size version of something a little bit like what Apple designed. So at the moment, you can probably see here that if you want to cover the bottom cameras and venting, you're going to need to push it on to the bottom area more. And what that does is it exposes the upper vents here, which is not ideal. Realistically, you could try and go for a more halfway house, but in all truth, I would much prefer to ensure that the cameras are protected. Even though I know the vent could be exposed, I feel like the cameras getting scratched and stuff could be a big no-no. This video is sponsored by DBRAND. And DBRAND are one of the best accessory makers in the world for technology, creating things like screen protectors, phone cases, and skins. They make things for your Apple Vision Pro in the Aperture, and also they make things for games consoles, computers, and so many things. Things like this, which is the Prism 2.0. We've got the Ghost Case 2.0 as well. The one thing that I love about the Ghost Case 2.0 is this guarantee that it will never yellow, and that is their own promise to you guys out there. And one thing I also like are the skins. This is the light X-ray, and it really does give my phone that kind of personalized appearance. And it's just something that just really makes it different to everybody else. And that's where Aperture is probably one of the most D-brand products. Even though they may not say it, it absolutely fits the bill because it's loud, it's brash, but it's bold, and it also has protection. It's definitely something that you need if you want to look after your Apple Vision Pro. And now, back to the rest of the video. I managed to get an interview with Kyle Goodrich, and I really wanted to talk to him about his design processes, where he came up with the idea for the Aperture in the first place, and also why this design and why work with DBRAND. And these are all really interesting things that I managed to speak to Kyle about. Thanks for the call. Really appreciate it. I know that it's probably been a pretty wild couple of, like a week or two in the sense of like the buzz leading up to it. I know you've had a long time of kind of working with DBRAND to get it to this point anyway. Tell me about you. Tell me, what's your background? I've obviously seen that, you worked at Snap, you do AR, there's a lot of stuff that in some ways, I understand that well because I work for YouTube isn't my full-time job. My full-time job is in XR.
Worked at Snap for nearly a decade, so very familiar with kind of their platform. One thing that really excites me about the Vision Pro was I think the whole industry was talking about Vision Pro, um, and specifically because Apple has I guess a history of releasing products that really kind of make it to the mainstream, and AR has been you know I guess it hasn't necessarily matured to mainstream just quite yet.
Yeah.
I think when you talk to a lot of people about AR, maybe they'll say like Pokemon Go. Sometimes people will say face lenses, although I don't think people necessarily consider like face lenses true AR.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I mean, when Apple embraces a new technology, people hear it, people get excited about it. So I think at Snap and really kind of within the industry, folks are like kind of excited that that Apple was getting into or releasing a product, um, essentially to legitimize the whole space.
Yes.
So I was very excited. Watched the keynote and was like in awe with everything that they were kind of mentioning. And yeah, tried it out at the Apple Store for the first time. And I was really amazed specifically about the interaction. So that was one thing that I spent a lot of time dealing with at Snap is trying to figure out how do you interact with new devices, whether it's, phone. I mentioned kind of the mirror. So how can you move things hands free with a display in front of you, and then also with spectacles. Um, and the eye tracking along with the hand tracking, I thought was just works so seamless, and I hadn't experienced something like that before, so that really excited me.
So some
And
may know you've got a 3D printer from certain posts on X some time ago. Not too long, maybe after you purchased your headset, your Vision Pro headset.
yeah, probably within maybe a few weeks, I had some extra time on the weekend, and yeah, I have a Formlabs Form 2. I love it. It's a resin printer. So that was kind of one of the kind of motivations for making a 3D print that fit for the Apple Vision Pro. Another thing too is so I'm wearing these headphones, AirPods Max, um, and I was actually very influenced by the is kind of like there's a handful of folks on Etsy that are making some really cool kind of clip-ons, and when I got the Vision Pro, I realized that it was glass
Yeah.
on the front, uh, actually came pretty close to dropping it once. I had the battery tethered, and I think I pulled the battery
Yeah.
and not realizing that it was attached to the headset and almost had it drop off my desk. So once that happened, I kind of put all these pieces together and thought that this would be a very fun project, to make. And mostly just did it for myself. Didn't really expect much, of it. But I posted it um, because, I think that's wanted to share it with the world too. I'm proud of it. Yeah, it took a bit of just trying to figure out the exact proportion or exact measurements of the case. But again, this is something that DBRAND kind of took my design and then made extremely precise, and made sure that all the cutouts were not, obscuring any sensors. So the way that I did it was actually pretty interesting. There's a model that I think Apple released for the launch of the headset. And they didn't specifically, I think, release the model. They released an AR.
That was it. Yeah, it was an
Kind of
AR, like a USDZ kind of thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think someone took that USDZ, put it on Sketchfab.
Ah,
I
okay.
downloaded that Sketchfab model and realized that it had a bunch of layers. So, like underneath the front kind of glass shield, there was another layer and another layer. So you could actually see where these sensors were.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I was trusting that that USDZ was a accurate, accurate to kind of the scale and dimensions of the Apple Vision Pro. So that's kind of what I was going off
That's
of
cool.
originally.
That's cool.
I was thinking about 3D scanning it. I think I tried 3D scanning it at first, but couldn't get a good enough, 3D scan. Plus, the front being reflective gives
Oh,
you all these issues.
nightmare.
And then yeah, it blew up on Twitter, which was crazy. I wasn't expecting, such a huge response. I think it might have been like a perfect storm of like the Apple Vision Pro just coming out
Yeah.
and it looking kind of cool and futuristic and whatnot. And also, I think uh,
This
it
was
being a
this
little
this your initial one? Was this like your first kind of like the one you showed to the world?
exactly this one right here. Yeah. So this it might also have like, given people some, tryptophobia vibes, which might have added to why, it got so big. But yeah, I don't have, the hugest following on Twitter. So compared to all of my other posts, like this, went like viral for me.
Yes.
I think I was talking to a couple friends afterwards, like, check this out, it's getting pretty big. One of the friends, it's just like, well, what would you want to do with this? It's like, well, maybe we can make a small run with it, but I have no idea how to actually do that. Like, um, I could like start looking at like manufacturing, like factories and whatnot. And one of my friends suggested, like, why don't you just like ask on Twitter, why don't we see if there's anyone that would be interested in helping out with manufacturing this? Um, and even though I think that sounds like an obvious idea, I
You don't know if
wasn't
anyone's
thinking
gonna
about
bite.
that. So
You've got no idea. You're casting out your fishing rod, and you might come back with a small fish, but things obviously took a different turn in that sense.
exactly. Yeah. So you know, I put that post out on if anyone was interested in making a small run of these things, and again was kind of overwhelmed with a huge response. But when I chatted with Dbrand, it was a perfect fit. I spoke with Adam there, who was really awesome. I kind of told him what I wanted out of it, which is this is just like a fun kind of product.
Yeah, of course.
And I just, want it to come to life. We eventually kind of diverged a little bit from the design. So you can see this has kind of like what we called like tendrils. They kind of just like clip on.
Yes.
Um, when we talked to the factory that eventually casted these, or I think with an injection mold machine, um, they mentioned that this would be too hard to essentially build as a one part mold,
Yeah.
or not one part mold, but see this is where kind of my um, my knowledge of kind of the like manufacturing side kind of stops, but
Yeah.
essentially it would be a little too difficult to design, like to cast with this tendril design. So what we ended up doing is adding flat edges, which was essentially made it possible to have this as just like a one part solution.
Yes.
Um, but through that, we needed to make a few more cutouts. So you could see like down here, we needed to uh, have cutouts for, I think, the bottom sensors. And let's see, are these
So the loads
they're
of them.
probably fan outlets? Yeah, vents. And then also, yeah, the top two buttons up there.
Yeah.
So provided a little bit of a challenge, but not too bad to really make sure that we were getting everything kind of like as tight as possible. I mean, DBRAND has their own methods, and but I'm more speaking to kind of like my
Your products on it. Yeah.
initial prototypes. Yeah. Um, so I have a few here, a few kind of failed ones here. Let's see. I think I numbered them. Yeah, you can see it's fading right now, but I have like a number right there. Forget exactly what that means. But essentially, um, this one was slightly bigger, like by like probably a quarter. I don't know, at very small uh, measurements, bigger
Yeah.
than some of the other ones, and I was trying to find kind of like the perfect fit. I actually used Houdini to get this like Voronoi pattern.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I used Houdini for the Voronoi pattern. I think I'm trying to figure out exactly what I did there because I somehow kept the cutout, like the cutout points or the where the sensors uh, were located. I had to kind of keep that in mind and kind of create a Voronoi around these kind of masks or voids. Um, and then from there, once I kind of liked what it gave me, because the great thing about Houdini is it's all procedural, and you can just change like essentially a seed number for a Voronoi pattern, and it'll just give you a completely different layout. So I was tapping, refresh a bunch of times, getting different patterns until I got something like this. Um, and then eventually set that over once I was happy with it, sent it over to ZBrush and uh, adjusted things here and there, and then added these kind of like little tendrils for the first prototype. Um, and yeah, and then printed and yeah,
That's cool. Like
that's how
that
it was
that's
made.
the story I wanted really, like, because it's one of those things where it's like, where did that design come from? Like you clearly don't suffer from tryptophobia from one sense for being able to work on it in ZBrush and play around with it and tweak it. But I think that the one thing that I've realized actually talking with you as well is that because you got your Vision Pro quite early on, the likelihood that you encountered any of these clear plastic covers for Vision Pro, I don't know if you came across them early or you didn't ever have one, and realistically, it was just a brain thought to have a protection accessory on it, and you were going to just design one, as opposed to going, oh, I bought this cheap, from Alibaba plastic cover thing. I'm protecting the glass, and actually, it's probably more damaging than actually not having it on because stuff can get under it and it can scratch it, and it's not over the sensors and cameras. So yeah, those are the things from just telling the story. Like I'm kind of picking up on.
Yeah, no, I didn't. This is before you know anyone had a chance to make anything and actually ship it to scale. So this is before. I think yeah, there's like a clear kind of like acrylic case. This is before that. I do remember seeing that like I don't know a few months later. Um, but yeah, I think this was just again like a passion project, something that I was like, you know what, this would be cool. I want this, and I think this kind of checks a couple boxes with how I want to be spending my time.
One thing that I was kind of curious about was the idea that you're going to put this on your device to protect it. But one thing you're
Mhm.
going to do is you're going to basically eliminate the ability to see eyesight, or, you know, like eyesight probably predominantly. It's going to kind of be sort of blended in with the holes a little bit.
With eyesight. I think that it's just a trade-off, you know.
Yeah, of course.
I really like this design, and I didn't really like eyesight. I think The Verge actually wrote about the cover and just kind of mentioned that they found eyesight disappointing. So this wasn't kind of like the biggest trade-off after all.
Yes.
Um, it is, you know, a little sometimes uncanny, a little creepy. I find you can still see it through the design though, which is,
Yeah.
you know.
But realistically, it's not the end of the world if you are actually getting more protection for a very expensive device. So,
Yeah, exactly. I think that was kind of the trade-off that um validated this design. One thing that we haven't chatted about yet actually is the
yeah,
battery
is
holster.
the battery holster. And that's something that I was interested, because I was thinking about your problem that you had where you said you nearly pulled your device off the desk.
You know, that was kind of the main motivation for it, which is like reminding the user that, you know, they have a battery tethered to their headset. Um, so yeah, you could keep it on your desk and then walk away and have it full. But yeah, the nice thing about this clip specifically is just, you know, you can clip it on your belt. You know, I usually have pockets on, but I know that, you know, some folks, you know, might not have like they might not be wearing something with pockets, so you can really just like clip it on to
Yeah,
anything.
that's awesome.
So that's nice. But the thing that I really, really like is we have this rotating head.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't even realize it did
Uh,
that. You know, for me, I'm really grateful for your time, and obviously for the explanations going through it all. I know you've got a little while
yeah,
that you've got to manage around somewhere in your
yeah,
home.
I am a little bummed, but haven't heard a peep in a while,
But
so
keep them on.
hopefully it's
You'll
sleeping.
never ever hear those cries. You know, it'll be fine.
Yeah,
But you know, I think that you know, we've got everything that I needed in terms of conversation, and it's just really good to touch
fantastic.
base with you and yeah, and speak about all this stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, excited that I get to, you know, share this stuff. Um, I have, you know, a few friends, and I'd love to talk, you know, with this too, but they're not interested. So it's fun to actually talk to someone who cares about this stuff.
And with that, I really hope you guys liked this video. I wanted you to have something a little bit different to your normal average unboxing and reviews, and I think we managed to achieve it. I want to thank DBRAND for the opportunity to check this out, thank Kyle for his time, and thank you guys for watching. And if you did enjoy it, please hit the like button and subscribe to A Vision Experiment, and I'll catch you for another video really soon. Man, this product is absolutely horrific. Like, it looks terrible.
I like it.
Can you do me a favor? Can you just throw that in the trash for me? Yeah, thanks. Take that and go and get 2 coffees.
Latte?
Yeah, and I'm gonna dispose of these myself.
Can I have it?
No, you don't need to do it. I'll do it. Absolutely fine. I want to just go and show Pete in the office, and then I'm going to throw him in the trash because he's not going to want him either.
I'll get rid of him.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, latte. No, scrap that. Mocha. I'll have a mocha, please. Thank you.
Okay, make your mind up.
Yeah, okay, right.